Hello and welcome to Create Crochet with me, Rebecca. In today's video I'm going to show you how to make this square blanket that can be used for a couch or for a baby or anything you like really. We're going to start right in the middle in this bit here, and I'm going to show you how to keep working out and out and out to create all these different rows. So stay with me and we'll show you what to do next. So to make your blanket you're going to need a yarn colour of your choice. Have a look on the label to see what the hook size is, and the hook size I'm going to be using is a size 5mm, which is a US size H. Now I am going to be using the American terminology, but if you do need the English terminology I do have a blog and all the explanations are on there. So let's get started. You have this small piece here, and you have the long piece which is attached to your ball of yarn. Now you have your two fingers like so. Place your yarn there and secure it with your thumb, and you're going to come around your fingers twice, and you have an exaggerated cross on the top of your fingers. You have a piece that goes under and a piece that goes over. So we're going to make an adjustable loop, so we're going to come under this one here and grab the top one. As we come through, we'll catch the yarn in our hook and give it a twist. Now holding all of this intersection here, take your fingers out and we're going to chain one. So that's yarn over and come through. And the reason why we chain one is just to secure the loop in place, so we can now let go and it dangles quite freely from our hook. Now you will notice that inside of your adjustable loop is your small end. Just take it through, just take it out, get it out of the way. So we're going to chain two more. So yarn over and come through this loop, yarn over and come through the loop. Whatever is on your hook is called a loop. Okay? So into this circle we're going to make 21 double crochet. Now to do a double crochet, yarn over the hook, into the magic circle and catch a piece of yarn and bring through. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and come through 1 and 2, yarn over and come through 1 and 2, and that's a double crochet. We're going to be doing that a lot of times. Keep this loop out of the way, try not to crochet over it because we will need to tighten it up in a minute. So as I said, we're going to be making 21 of those, so including our chain 3, because whenever you do a chain 3 it classes as your first double crochet. So we're going to make 21 double crochets. So yarn over your hook, into the loop, yarn over and come through, yarn over, come through 2, yarn over and come through 2. We're going to be doing that. That's the only stitch, other than the chain, that's the only stitch that we're going to be using on this blanket. If you're struggling to get your hook through your loops on your hook already, like that's quite easy to come through, you may find that you're what we call a tight crocheter. Just practice trying to loosen off these loops on your hook here. So we have 1 loop on our hook, yarn over, and when we go yarn over we're always going from far to near to do a yarn over. Yarn over, into our big circle and yarn over again. Catch that yarn over into the hook and comes out of your loop. So now you have these 3 on the hook, yarn over and come through 2, yarn over, come through 2. So it's always come through 2, come through 2. Now if you find that this circle here is getting too big to work with, or this tail end is getting too close to this section here, just gently pull on the tail end and it will close up the circle a little bit. So let's keep going until we have 21 of these. Right, now I've completely lost count, so I'm going to show you how to count your stitches. So you have this loop on your hook. From here, let go of everything apart from your crochet work and just pull that loop to make it big. That way then it won't slip off your stitch. So holding all of this, you'll be able to see when I hold it up close that these are vertical posts here, and each one of those is a double crochet that you've just made. So I'm going to count them to see how many I have made. So that's 1 there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's our 3 chain there. So I've done 9 and I need to do 21 in total. To get this loop back to its right size, put your hook in and just tighten this off. And this bit here is the one that is attached to our ball of yarn. So just tighten that back up and off we go again. So we're just going to keep going round until we have 21. So if you go round and count either as you're going or just keep checking how many you've got by counting your posts, I'll join you when we're about to finish off the round. So I think I've got 21, but my phone rang and then my child wanted me. So I'm just going to check these to make sure I have actually got 21 double crochets and 22 would be the chain. So let's count them. So that's 1 chain. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I've actually got one more than what I actually need. So I'm going to hold my 21st stitch firmly, and with the long end attached to the ball of yarn, I'm going to gently pull that one through and extend this loop here. See, life takes over. It's not all about crochet, although I'd like it to be. So what we're going to do now is we're going to slip stitch to the top of the 3 chain. Now, you know how we counted these bars here? You can always tell if it's a really decent stitch because you have these 2 loops at the top of the stitch. One there and one there. So that's the top of our stitch. When you look at the chain, it looks a little bit messier than that. So this is our chain here. So next to this one is this funny little loop here. So sorry, let me show you again. So that's the top of our first neat double crochet, and then you've got this funny little loop here. Well, that funny little loop, that's the top of the chain, and that's what we're going to slip stitch to. I'll show you how to slip stitch. You're going to go into the top of that funny little chain there and catch up the loop, so you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and you're going to come through 1 and 2, and that's your slip stitch, and that's round 1 complete. At this stage you have a massive great big hole here. This is the middle of your blanket, so you're going to want to tighten that up. As you work it, it will become looser and looser and looser. That's fine, as long as you can actually see this tail end and it's not about to disappear in there, you're onto a winner. When we finish the blanket, we will tie this in and make this hole small. But for now, don't worry about it, it's fine. So chain 3, again, that's to start our next round, like so. And we're going to double crochet into the top of our first double crochet that we made of our previous round. Now, as you can see, there's 2 loops on there. It's only actually classed as 1. So we're going to carry on and do our double crochet exactly the same as what we did in our previous round. In our previous round, we went through here to start our double crochet. This time, you pick up the top 2 loops of the previous round's double crochet. This is instead of going into this. So yarn over and come through. So you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and come through 2, yarn over and come through the last 2. So we're going to do 4, so that's 1, 2, into the next one, 3, and 4. So now we have a circle, but we actually want our blanket to be square. So now we need to create our corner. And into this one, we're going to make 5 double crochet, all into the same place. So this is 1. Back into here for 2. Again into here for 3. Four. And the last one is 5. Now by putting all those stitches in one place, it will gather your stitches and force them into a corner. So that's one corner. So going into the next stitch here, 1, going to the next stitch for 2, yarn over into the next stitch for 3, to the next one for 4, and then into this one we're going to put our corner again. So that's 5 double crochet all into this stitch here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my computer. I'm sorry about that strange noise. And the last one, all in the same place, for 5. And then we need to do our 4 singles. So that's 1, 2. Oh no, my fault. I was about to put another corner in next to a corner. So that was 1, 2, into the next stitch, 3, next stitch, 4, and now we do our corner. See, I just quite like doing corners. So again, 5 all into this stitch here. So 1, 2, 3, my yarn is caught, I'm sorry, 3, 4, and 5. So let's pause there and let's just see what it looks like. So there you go, that's what it should look like. You have the sides, and then you have the corner, which is your 5 double crochet all in one place. You have a straight and a corner, a straight. So then we go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we have this one stitch here left, because that stitch is where the chain is coming out of. We have this one here, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then to finish the round, we slip stitch to the top of our 3 chain. So again, a slip stitch, 1 loop on the hook, into the top of the chain. So you have 2 loops, yarn over and take off both of those loops. And that is, let's tighten this up so you can really see it, that is how your blanket is going to continue. So we're going to chain 1, 2, and 3. So from here on in, you really don't need to count across the top here. When I told you how to count your posts, I did have an ulterior motive. This is your corner here. And if you lose track or you can't remember where to put your corner, you know you have 5 stitches here where your corner is. When you do your next 5 to create this round's corner, you obviously need to go into the 1, 2, 3rd one, because it's in the middle of your previous round's corner. So let's do that together. So don't need to go into this section here, because that's where our chain is coming out of. We go into this top of the previous round, come through. Make sure that you do actually catch up both loops, otherwise it will create a pattern. And if you're doing it all in that pattern, then great. But if you only pick up a few stitches where you only pick up the front one or the back one, it might look a bit weird just in that one place. So here I am, I'm coming around to my corner. So I've got 1, 2, and I'm into here. And this is where I'm going to put my 5 double crochet to create this round's corner. So that's 1, back in here for 2, and again for 3, four, 5. And off we go. Make sure when you've done your 5, what I did do when I first learned how to do this is I couldn't find the next stitch, and inevitably I would skip this one and go straight into the next one that I could find. If you have to push your last double crochets round to get into this very next stitch, it's really important that you do that, otherwise you're going to lose your corner. I do apologise. So make sure you go into each one of those previous rounds double crochet when you're on your straight side of your squares. And here I am coming back into my corner. Going to check where I need to put it, and I can see, because I've got this little mini hole here, that's where I know I've got my 5 double crochets. That's 1, 2, and this is where I need to put my 5 double crochet. So I've got one more single to do, and then into this stitch I'm going to do my 5 to create the corner. 2, 3, 4, and the last one for 5. And then off we go on the straight, making sure that I get this very next stitch here in there. I'm just going all the way around doing exactly the same, and every round is the same as this one, in that you go into the top of every single previous round's double crochet to do this round's double crochet, and you do 5 double crochet in the middle, so on the 3rd double crochet of the previous round's corner, to create this round's corner. So I'm just going to check where I need to put this corner. Oh, I'm quite far away. Don't need to do it just yet. And there, catching up both loops. Okay, let's just see where I am now. So I've got 1, 2, in here. So I've done that one. This is where I'm coming from for my corner. Good job I checked then. 2, 3, 4, and 5, and going into the very next stitch to carry on the straight edge of our square. So that's how it should look right now. So you have this corner and this corner. We've just done this corner, so we have one more to do, and that should be around here. Just do that stitch again. I wasn't happy where I put my hook. Don't be afraid to adjust your crochet. Don't be afraid to have a practice. Pull it all apart. It's absolutely fine. If you're making this as a present, it's better for it to look really, really good than a practice piece, would be my advice. So I've got 1, 2, 3. So I've got this one here to do before I do my next corner. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last one is 5. Now I seem to have an extra stitch here. I'm going to ignore it, and I'm just going to slip stitch straight to the top of my chain. And that is how your blanket should start to go. So it should have the 4 corners and this big hole in the middle, which we will sort out right at the end. Now, I'm going to teach you, or show you, sorry, I'm not a teacher, but I'm going to show you how to change colours. Now, I never change colours here. Sorry, I've got that completely wrong. I am going to change colours here. I was thinking about another project that I was doing. So to change colours here, I'm not going to chain anything at all. I'm going to get my new colour and I'm going to use a darker shade of blue, and I'm going to make a slip knot. Just take out a bit of yarn. Now the way you make a slip knot is you have, again, your short, let me move that so the camera can pick it up. You have your short end and your long end. You're going to come round and make a little bit of a loop, like so. You have this cross section here. Holding on to the cross section, bring this tail section through the circle, grab it, and then pull on the short end to tighten the knot. And that is a slip knot. I'm just going to tighten that up a bit. Bring back your work and remove your hook from your loop. So you have this loop here. Okay? Hook in. This is going to act as your first yarn over of your double crochet. So instead of going yarn over as normal, we're going to go yarn over, pull that a bit tighter, into our first double crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over, come through one, come through two, and then you just carry on as normal. And that's how you change colours. So keep going round and then I'll show you how to finish your work. So I've just told you complete nonsense, so however I just told you to change colour, don't do it that way. I don't know why I told you to do it that way. I'm thinking of a different project. Please forgive me. So you have one loop, you've made your slip knot, and you have one loop on your hook. We should have chained 3 to get up to the next round. So this actually still does count as your yarn over. So yarn over with the new colour is your slip knot. Moving all these little tail pieces out of the way, you're going to go 1, 2, and 3 to count as your first double crochet. And then you carry on doing your double crochets as normal. I apologise for my mistake. We all make them. It all happens. We're only human. And yeah, I tend to still make mistakes with my crochet. And that's fine. But as long as you recognise what you've done and you can rectify it, then it's a winner. Right, so after you've crocheted a couple, I'm just going to get my scissors. After you've crocheted a couple, you need to get rid of the light blue. So flip your work over and you have all these tail ends here. This one here is attached to my ball of yarn. I'm going to snip it off, get rid of that, and with these two ends here, I'm just going to tie them together like you would do a normal shoelace or a tie. Just make a normal knot. So cross over and cross over. And that's how you actually change colour, not how I just told you how to do it. So I'm really sorry about that, but that's how you change colour. So I'm going to keep going round with this colour and I'll meet you back at the beginning. So here I am, I've just done my last corner here. I'm going to go into my last set of stitches here. And this last one before the chain 3. And then we're going to slip stitch to the top of that 3 chain. Right in there. And that's our next round complete. So for every single round it's exactly the same. You go into each previous round stitch on the straight, and on the corner you're going to put 5 double crochet in one. But now what I want to show you how to do is finish your blanket. So pretend this is huge, big enough to fit whatever it is you're using your blanket for. You snip off the end and bring your hook up like so and give it a tug. If you flip it over, you've got all these loose ends here. What we need to do is weave in those ends. So I have my yarn needle here. You can use plastic or metal, it really doesn't matter. So what we're going to work on first is these ends here, where we changed the colour. So I have a light blue and a dark blue. I'm going to work with the light blue one first. You'll see why in a second. So just thread that on, like so. With the light blue, take the end through the light blue work. Now obviously you're going to have different colours, but you want to match the tail end to its own colour. Otherwise you'll see the tail end going through the work like this bit here. So you literally push the needle through your work like so, just as far as you want to take it, and then bring your sewing needle through. But we still have a tail end. Yeah, you're going to. What you need to do is just pull gently and pucker up your work here so that it gathers. Cut your yarn as near to your work as you dare without cutting your work, and discard this piece. And then stretch your work out again, and that tail end has disappeared. So now with the dark blue, you do exactly the same, and you push it through your dark blue. So we're going to pretend that I've done those, because I'm sure you don't need showing how to sew a piece of tail end in more than once. But then I want to show you about the magic loop that we started off with. Now holding your work, you need to give that end a really good yank so that the hole really does close up. And with your yarn needle, again, we're going to do exactly the same. Thread it on, making sure that it's as tight can be, and we're going to thread it through. So when you thread it through, make sure that there's not a gap of where you then put it in your stitches, otherwise you're going to see your yarn. You want to put it as close to where it's coming out of your work as possible. And again, you just feed it through. If you need to, give it a bit of a wiggle. And bring it through. She says. Doesn't want to come through, which makes me happy. If it was easy to pull the needle through, it means your tail end is easy to come out of where you've just put it. So I'm going to give that another quick pull, and I'm going to snip it off and spread the work out, and the tail end has disappeared, and it's all nice and neat. That's how you make a square blanket. Thank you so much for watching Create Crochet. It's been a pleasure crocheting with you. Please leave any comments below or go to my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye for my friends.